This is Listings to Leads. And today we're here to talk about what to do with Facebook and Google. I did ask before we started here, who here has actually ran ads on Google, and didn't get any response. So we'll just drive forward anyway. Listings to Leads, if you're not aware, it's a really powerful advertising platform. It's going to help you get buyer leads. It's going to help you get seller leads. If you have listings, we have some really innovative ways of leveraging those through social media, through online ads, through print, and through your CRM. So there are a lot of ways to capture leads with all of our tools. And if you want more buyers or more sellers, there's just a lot of options. Today, we're just going to talk about Facebook and Google, and we'll dive into it in a minute. But what I want to point out first before we start is just how to think about Google, because there's been so many people, including our company here, we're talking about Facebook for so long that everybody is familiar with it. I think if the agents here answered, at least half of you run an ad on Facebook. Not to say that half of you have had successful ads on Facebook, but you're running. We'll get into what you can do with Facebook in a moment. But I think if I ask the average realtor, how many of you run ads on Google, it feels to me like it's 1 out of 20 or maybe 1 out of 50 agents, right? The odd thing about that is Google is the #1 website in the country. And I want you to think about this if you're thinking about getting listings. I'll show you. So the #2 website in the country, just so you know, is YouTube, right? Which is owned by Google, but it's just, it's #2. #3 website is Facebook. And a lot of agents, sorry guys, I'm trying to close something here, but it's my way. Give me 1 second. I just gotta stop this. Okay. God, sorry. So this is Facebook here. It's the #3 website in the country. It's very different from Google, right? You go to Google and you ask a question and you get answers. You go to Facebook and you look at your friends, you look at their pets, you look at what they're eating, you look at where they're on vacation. And of course, you look at ads, right? Here's Temu, this new kind of weird company. And this is an ad, it's sponsored. And that is really the nature. As I scroll down, here's an ad from a concert that's coming, right? So why does that work? Why does that work so well? Well, what's different about Google is you go to Google and you ask a question and you right away get answers. When you go to Facebook, you're just looking around at here, some comedians and stuff like that, right? All kinds of fun stuff. Maybe you follow some groups and so you get news from them. Here's something about some kind of mushroom tea, right? And so the thing is, American adults, not children, spend about 40 minutes every day going through this little news feed and seeing what their friends are up to and seeing all kinds of cool stuff. Your ads sit there, and if it's relevant to the person who's looking at it at that moment, then you're likely to get a lead, right? And so I think a lot of us as realtors, we could grasp that, right? We grasp that. Oh yeah, I'm on Facebook. My friends are on Facebook. And if I run an ad there, I'm going to get a lead there, right? And so everybody's cool with that concept. And then there are all kinds of companies that have the software to help you run ads on Facebook. And of course, we have that software too. And that's what Facebook is all about. I'm going to show you how easy that is in a minute. But I don't know if you spend much time on Facebook. It's what I just showed you there, right? Maybe you're chatting with your friends on the side or something like that. But when we have a question, where's the best hotel in New York? Or where can I get good Italian food in LA? Or how do I sell my home? We come to Google. 86% of all people on the internet come to this website first. Okay. I don't know where you sit, if you're sitting in the United States, if you're sitting in Canada or in the Caribbean, but If you're sitting in one of these areas and your target market, 86% of them are coming to this website asking for answers to important real estate questions. Okay. And I'll just say 95% of you are not really participating here, right? You're not really trying to get this. Now, you can see the question that I ask, how do I sell my home? And you can see that Maple Home Buyers is right here. They'll buy and sell your home, right? We buy home any condition, right? And there's all kinds of weird stuff here. But those are people paying for these keywords. How do I sell my home in my zip code? Okay. It's as simple as that. So you're targeting the people and you're using keywords and saying, I type those words in. I want to come up as a solution. Now, I'm not going to click on this link because every time you click on an ad like this, when it's sponsored, you are literally chewing up part of their ad spend. And I don't really want to hurt this guy's ad spend. So I'm not going to do that. But let's go look inside listings to leads and talk about how in the world did they get there? How do you get to be on page one of Google? And I think ads is the way. I will tell you this as we get there and go over the ads page and let that ruminate a minute. I was just in a conference in Vegas. I got back yesterday with EXP. And somebody was telling me like, oh yeah, I'm working on my SEO. And I was like, wow, I don't really know. I don't tell agents to work on SEO at all. And for a specific reason, you may or may not know this. Google, they change their algorithms. You may think you are doing great this week and they update their algorithms a couple times a year. And all of a sudden you're not doing great, right? So that's one thing I really dislike about SEO. The other thing is most of you do not have the time or knowledge to manage your own SEO game. And so you end up paying providers or companies often thousands of dollars a month to have SEO. And then often those people call me, the realtors, and they're like, I can't even get a hold of these people anymore. They're just not there. It's just the bad service model of what I understand about what's happening with SEO. And third, it's one of the most expensive things going on. And in my mind, one of the biggest ripoffs on realtors. But it's there. It's got a space. And it's got a story, right? So whenever you get a story, you can usually sell it. What I want to point out, though, is just on that search right here, there are 7 billion pages that are answering this question in my area. So there's, how can that be, right? And so that's because there's just so many content providers. And that's like SEO is just bonkers. It's ridiculous to me. I'm not a fan of it at all. It is a heavy lift and a big, long, process to build SEO and maintain SEO. But if you want to be on page one of Google, you just subscribe to our software. And if you want more listings, which I definitely recommend, if you're thinking you want listings, this is a big part of it. Click on landing page and go to one of our home valuation landing pages, right? And so Property Valuation Plus is what we call our home valuation landing pages. I'm going to click create an ad and you can see it's talking about Roseville. We're going to target Roseville. Okay. And so you can create a home valuation landing page for Orlando, and then you can type in Orlando there. And you can create one for Dallas and do one there in Austin and all your favorite towns and even neighborhoods. You can create a landing page. I'll show you where to do that next. And then it says right here, view link. You don't have to do this. I'm just going to click it so that we can see where we're driving people. This is one of our landing pages. And as I said, you can create these yourself. And then you drive traffic to it. So we've got a $50 a day budget. And let me explain this because the last time I did this call, this guy said, when can you change that back to $10? Now, you may not know this. This Google software that I'm showing you, we added it to the platform about a year ago. And when we came out, we put in $10, right? The daily budget was $10. And We did that because we know agents don't want to spend a lot of money on ads or don't want to spend a lot of money in the direction in general. So 10 was like a reasonable number. But I need you to understand why that didn't work and why we changed it to 50. So when you run an ad on Facebook or on Facebook, but on Google, you remember how I said if I click this link, that would charge this person? So I don't even know who Maple Home buyers are, but they probably paid for an ad. That's why they're right there on number one, right? And so if they paid for an ad and I click on their link, Google's going to take away part of their payment, right? What does that mean? That means if I run an ad here and I have a $50 a day budget, and Google says every time somebody clicks on your ad, we're going to charge you $10 or $20. They're going to take it from that $50 until you run out of money that day. Right. So if they're charging $25 per click per lead, and you have $50, you're going to get 2 clicks a day. Okay, that's what it is. It's a daily budget. I can tell you this, because the software is new, we don't have all the data points from all over the country in the way that we have on Facebook. So a lot of what I'm telling you is anecdotal, meaning I've actually spoken to agents who are using the software and telling me what things cost. And what I found out is that if you're running an ad like this in Dallas, Texas, your leads cost $30. Okay. That's what they're charging to get one lead. Right. And that means that they click on it and they land on this page. And then ideally this page like captures the lead and sends it off to the agent. So what's important is if you have this at your daily budget at $10, which you can change today, you can do it yourself and change it to $10. If Google is selling leads at $20 each, you will not get one lead at all. It just won't. You're not in the price range to be participating or getting leads. I hope everybody understands that. Our default settings are $50 a day. You don't have to change. You can change it if you don't want to spend $50 in a day. You can change it to 20. You can even change it to 10, but I don't think you get any leads for $10. You might if you were doing buyers, but if you're trying to get listings, I don't think you'd get anything. This is a 7-day ad. So if it's $50, you would be exposed to a $350 spend. Like I said, in Dallas, a lead costs $30 each. Now, homes in Dallas are pretty pricey, so agents are happy getting a bunch of leads because they know the amount they're going to make when they sell a home. So Google is a real great resource for them. And that's wherever you are, there's a corresponding math, right? How much are you going to invest to get X dollars in commission to sell a home? And that's what you can think of regarding Google, right? So that's the simplest way to think about that. The other way to think about that, and I'm going to go show you how to create a landing page in a minute, but I want to show you just some of the things that are right off the bat ready and designed for you. So go back to the ads page, and hopefully it doesn't take forever. We're actually cleaning up. There's 2 pages that are making me crazy. Like one is the ads page and the other is the social page, which hopefully we don't have to go look at. But let's just keep on the discussion of Google and let's talk about PDF guides. Now, PDF guides, there are 80 PDF guides and you, the agent, are branded on every page of these. Your color scheme, it flows through here. Your logo is on every page. And we have written 80 different guides for you. 40 are for buyers. Okay. Click that button there. You're going to see all the ones for buyers. And the other 40 are for homeowners. Okay. So if you take this and you say, you know what, I want to get more listings, what's relevant in your area? 5 dangers of overpricing, maybe curb appeal. That might be a earlier stage kind of thing. Divorce and real estate. Let's do that one. I always think this is relevant because the average length of homeownership is, I think in the United States, what is it? Is it like 7 or 8 years? Oddly enough, what is the average length of a marriage in the United States? It's right about the same. So these things are probably happening in your area. And the page that we're talking about, it's not even an area specific page, right? So you just run this in your area. Here I am in Lafayette. Let's click on view link. Where are we driving into? We're driving to a landing page that's got your picture up here, and it's going to say, hey, download this free guide. Give us your contact information and download that right there. So we're driving to a landing page that's going to capture the lead. Okay. Now, just so we can learn a little bit more about this, I'm going to click on advanced options. You don't need to click on advanced options. I just want you to understand what's going on. These are your keywords, and we update these keywords. I mentioned that there are 80 different PDF guides, right? And there are different landing pages that you can create. Anytime you're using our software, we're automatically building in all these keywords. And that's relevant to that question right there. How do I sell my home? Those are the keywords that I typed in, and these people are paying for those words, right? For you to be there, we've already looked at what's important for that particular topic. Also, all this stuff down here is automatically done by us. If you wanted to go to Google and do it yourself, you'd have to be typing in all this stuff. And you might not even know what it is. These headlines correspond to these headlines over here. And this description corresponds here. And you actually need multiple descriptions and multiple headlines before Google will make an ad active for you. Now, this is just conversation so that you're understanding about Google. You don't really need to know that if you're using our software, because all you need to know is what landing page do I want and what city do I want to target, and publish. Okay. That's how easy for you to have an ad, so that if I just go over here and I type in, maybe I wake up one middle of the night and I type in this search, your ad could show up on here, right? Because the keywords that are in here are already built into the keywords here. And while we're talking about divorce, like I said, there are 40 other different topics about that a homeowner needs to know. So you have a lot of options to do that, to be on Google. This other one here, landing pages PDF guide, I don't recommend anybody does a custom ad, because unless you really know how to run Google ads. These two here, we make it really easy. And that's really all I'm going to focus on. If you want more listings, Google should be part of your business strategy. Okay. I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's go look really quickly at landing pages before we move over to. And let me ask, while we're waiting here, do any of you have questions about Google, what I just showed you? I see a question here, so let's get that. Yeah. Would you recommend uploading it? Or yeah, Hector. Yeah. It's not there. Yeah. Hector has an interesting. Yeah. Okay. I'll answer that question for you, Peggy. Hector has an interesting question. Would you recommend uploading a divorce database from the courthouse into an audience? You could. Let's hold that for a minute, Hector, because that's custom audiences, and that's really what we do with Facebook. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And then Peggy says, can you use Google IDX ad? You can. Which ads we're seeing more leads? Okay. We've got a lot of questions here, so definitely bring them in. Hector's saying, which ads are you seeing that are bringing in more leads? If we want buyers, running ads on Facebook on your listings are the way to do it. Yeah, that's bringing in the most leads, but that's what most of our clients are doing. They have a listing, they want buyers, and they go out and get it. They go out and they get that on Facebook, right? It seems the value of Google is that you can target location more precisely. That's a question for Patricia. And that's not exactly true, but that is a value. That the question, or the reason why Google is so important, it's that it's the number one website in the country. And it's where people ask questions, and they ask real estate related questions because they need answers. That's why Google is so valuable. That's why the leads cost so much, because Google knows it's valuable, right? Yes, you can target a little bit better there. So I definitely recommend that. Karen's asking, do I need to have a Google business page for this? Yes, you do. You need to have a Google ad account. And usually if you have a Google business page, that kind of comes with it. And I'll show you this. This is not quite related, but I'm gonna just show this to you. I'm not saying it's not recommended, but let me show you something. You see this over here? This is Lita. This is a really cool restaurant near me. And this is the business page. And I'm noticing that a lot of realtors are getting this. So you might have your own business page that looks like this. In this case, we can actually auto post content to these for your listings and our social media content, right? So you do need something. If you have something like this already built, that means you have an ad account. Karen, I'm showing you all this to answer your question. Let's see. Is a cost to connect? Yeah. Okay. So it costs a fee to connect to Google monthly, correct? And that is in addition to that cost. Yeah, that's right. Let's go back to ads. In our whole system, you see all these tabs over here, and almost everything comes with a basic $60 a month account. Text IVR down here, which is text this number to that number to get instant info, that costs an additional 10. There's also a way to connect to Cole resource for deeper information on homeowners. That costs 30 a month. I'll show you where that is in a minute. But if you want to use our Google software, when you try to create an ad, the first time it's going to tell you subscribe to the software. So this is an additional 30 a month. It doesn't come, the Google ad software doesn't come with a platform. We may at the end of the year put it all together and charge a larger fee, and you just get everything. Talking about that this week. But that costs $30. We don't charge a percentage of your ad spend. I know there are a lot of companies that do that. We don't charge you per ad. We're just charging you per month. To make it easy for you to use Google, it's $30 a month. And if you sign up over here, you get a free 30-day trial. I recommend you run a couple of ads in the 30 days to see how that works, right? Now, somebody asked about creating an IDX ad, and I skipped it today because I spoke to Scott and the tech team about a week ago. I said, we got to change this. But let me show you what it's meant to do. I'm going to just skip through here because this interface, what I just did, doesn't make a ton of sense. But I do want you to understand what this is about so that maybe you can do that, because I can't remember who asked about the IDX. But let's say you've got a really great website, and your website, and what I mean by great is that it will convert traffic to a lead. Okay. And so let's go over here to, I can't remember Nadia, who this is, but if I went to this website and I did a search, would this website let me look at a few properties for a few minutes, or maybe just 5 or 10, and then force me to register? If the answer is yes, that's a good website to us, right? That means, yeah, that's awesome. We want to get people there. Then what would be a great way to do that, right? And you could say, let's point them to my website, and let's have our budget, and let's run an ad for 7 days. And over here it says Sarasota homes for sale. Sure. And all this stuff here, like I said, in advanced options, it's already written for you, right? And so that's what the point of an IDX search. I don't recommend doing this if you don't have good lead capture on your website. And I think probably just 75% of real estate websites don't have really any good lead capture. So I don't really recommend driving people to your website unless you really know what's going on and you know it can convert. Just as an example, I don't know if you guys have heard of Boomtown. It's a super expensive website, but 10 people who land there register. The site is strong enough to that that 1 out of 10 people that land on that website, they register. So they'll become a buyer lead. So you might want to do that, right? You might want to point people there. I also want to point out one other thing, just because I know realtors like to do this. And let's go look over here. Home valuation. So you see that Nadia here, and a lot of you have websites where you have a home valuation page built into your website. Okay. And that's cool, right? And a lot of realtors feel like, I want to run an ad and I want to point people to that page. I want to point people to my website. And I want to just say this so that you're all clear of, while you can do, that's not the most effective thing to do. And why is that? So we have landing pages. I can show you a better one of what is your home worth. And the value of a landing page, in contrast to the value of your website, is the landing page only answers one question. But if you drive me to your website, now I know, oh, there's all kinds of things I can do. Do I want to meet the team? Do I want to look at luxury listings or whatever? When really you want it just to get home valuation leads. That's why we don't recommend, that's why while you embed it in your website, and I'm sure you might feel it's great for your branding and all that, if your goal was to get listing leads, you're not taking the best action. The best action is to say, hey, I actually want to run an ad, a landing page for home valuations that has nothing else up on it. It's just a landing page. They can't go look about and learn about anything else. They just can get their free home value. That's all they can do. It makes sense, right? With what we're talking about. It's not complicated at that point. And that's the thing, is you want it to be simple, right? So in this one, we're looking at Facebook, but it's the same thing on Google, right? You just want to point people to the one landing page that can do work for you. Yeah, okay. I think we saw another question. Yeah, about budget. So let's talk about that. I actually just had that question this morning. And if I'm talking to an agent who is new to the business, and new like year 1, year 2, you don't have your own listings, you're just working as a buyer's agent maybe, I would tell these people to be spending $200 a month on Facebook. And we're going to get to the Facebook ads. We haven't even gotten into it, but there are ads that you can run. You can get buyer leads and you can get seller leads. And you do, by spending $200 a month, what I'm actually saying is do one ad a week for $50 each. Okay. Something like that. When you do that, you're going to find that you get leads for that kind of money, somewhere between 50 and maybe 75, maybe 25 to 75 leads. But your business page, you see this word up here says impressions. That means if you spend $200 a month, about 10,000 people every month will see your business page. And the challenge of, being a realtor is there are so many other realtors in your space. You have a lot of competition. And if you're a new realtor, nobody knows you're a realtor, right? Your friends and family know. Maybe if you're walking around with a sandwich board, people start to learn that. But where do you get 10,000 people a month to see your ads, right? To see your brand? It's actually on Facebook. Okay. Now, if you are a realtor with listings, and let's just say you keep less than 5 listings, right? And that's maybe you have 1 or 2 a month at all times. And then you need to increase your budget and maybe run ads on Facebook when they're sold. Definitely run ads on Facebook when you have an open house or when you have it just listed, right? These are times to advertise on Facebook and get, if it's early stage, you're going to get buyer leads. If it's later stage, you're going to get seller leads. So then you probably want a budget for Facebook that's closer to $300 to $400 a month. But if you're an agent that has listings, you want to have that Facebook budget going. And if you want more listings, you want to add your Google budget. Okay. And what I don't know, because I don't know where all of you are sitting in the country, is I don't know what you would actually pay for a seller lead. I did mention that if you're sitting in Dallas, you're going to pay $30 each, right? And I know from speaking to agents out in Pennsylvania, that cost is, I think, 22. And I've actually had agents tell me that their seller leads in the western part of the country, meaning like the mountain area, not like California in quieter locations, they're paying like $15 a seller lead. So you can figure out wherever you are, you can test out our software here and find out what a seller lead costs you. But let's just say it's 30 bucks. If you spend $300 a month, you're going to get 10 seller leads. And I will tell you this, I can tell you a little bit about conversion, right? That's another question that nobody asked, but it's super important. I set up all the team accounts and I set up the national partnerships and the brokerages and all that. So I talked to a lot of teams that are well oiled and know what they're doing, right? Often agents, they don't have a machine together to really take advantage of what needs to be leveraged. But teams often do. And I've had teams tell me, like, straight up, they said, listen, we convert 1 out of 70 Facebook leads, 1 out of 70. So you got to get a lot of leads. And remember, I just mentioned a minute ago that if you're running ads on Facebook and you spent 200 bucks, you would get about 70 leads. You might get 25 to 75 leads, right? Depending on what kinds of ads you're running. So in that math, you might convert 1 deal. I think on average, though, and I'm sure you guys have heard this, you might convert 1 to 3% of the leads you get, right? 1 to 3. And I've actually had clients come up to us in conferences and saying, we're converting 5% of your Facebook leads, which I think is great. They are teams, they know, they follow up, and they convert leads. 5% is awesome, frankly. That's awesome. That was a Remax conference that we were working in. And one of our clients came up and said, hey, we love that Facebook stuff. We're converting 5%. We're running ads all the time. Great. Now, other people would tell you, like some of the same teams say, we convert 1 out of 40 Google ads, right? You need a lot fewer Google leads, to get business. And that's because it's that question. They're going to Google to answer a question. They need help. They need an answer. And if you got a great solution, you're halfway there, right? I hope that I'm trying to answer the thing of a budget. If you want listings, you need to have a Google budget for sure. But if you don't have any listings, Facebook is a good place to start to capture leads and to build your brand. And then honestly, the ad budget for somebody super green, 200 bucks a month. If you're managing 1 to 2 listings at a time, 500 bucks a month. And if you're managing 3 to 5 listings and you want more listings, you probably need at least $1,000 budget for just ads. And I would still tell you, you want to use our mailing tools to get even higher quality listing leads. That all gets back to how to get listings. And Facebook, you can get buyers too. I'm going to send this to you right now. This is our YouTube channel in case you've never seen it. And I do a call every 2 weeks that says top tools to get more listings. It's right here 2 weeks ago. A lot of what I'm talking about right now is on that. Okay. It's talking about that right there. So you want to make sure if you want more listings that you look at this and you will see where Google and Facebook work in. So let's get over to the landing pages and let's talk about, sorry, my brain just went to sleep. Let's talk about what you need to do to create a landing page just for home values. Now, if you click on the green button, create landing page, you can create all kinds of landing pages, right? For FSBOs, for expireds to avoid foreclosure, all these. You can even do custom things like if you got buyers that you want to find or sellers and you got a custom message, you can create that. I know a lot of people have like classes, like first-time home buyer classes. I always say, hey, go over here, custom buyer, and go customize this. And then once you've customized it, you can run an ad. but let's do the one that we need. I'm going to do one on Concord. Concord is right next to me, and it's a cute little town. It's, I want to say it's up and coming. It used to be super working class area. And now it's, you know what? It's affordable and it's really becoming more and more turnover. So I want to have something on Concord. Now, one thing that you want to do is you want to have a picture of something that is going to let me know my town, right? And there's this cool area called, it's right in the center of town called Todos Santos. It's a park. And it's cool because they have a farmer's market there. And you can even see movies in the summer. There's all kinds, you see this kind of thing up here. And they have a free summer concert series. I just went and listened to some Pink Floyd cover band. But let's go here. Let's see. That's too small. Can you see this number? It says 1200 by 65. That means it needs to be a large one. So I clicked on tools. I clicked on large. That's not large enough. What's this one here? Yeah, this one's large enough. So this is actually part of it. So I'm going to save this in. Sorry, guys. Not New Year's Eve. 1B. Yeah. Ideally, you take the photo with your own camera in landscape. Okay. And then you get over here and we drop you immediately on upload an image. So then you click here and you upload an image. And if you got one of those fancy smartphones, you can definitely do that. You can take a photo in a horizontal and just do it. And then save it. This is really important. I don't know if you saw the generic view of the page, but you got to remember what you're asking people to do with this page. You're going to ask them, can I have your address and contact information on the internet, right? And I don't know about you guys, I'm sure you are on the internet every once in a while. And when people start asking for your information, you probably aren't giving it up. Same is true for everybody else that you're going to try and target. So having a photograph of something that they know is going to help you a lot. Okay. It means that, oh, you actually know my area. We created the landing page. If I refresh here, that landing page is going to probably be sitting somewhere around here. And where is it? Is it at the bottom? Let's go here to ads. And when I click on ads, we did create a property valuation plus. And this is going to be a good time to talk about one of the questions that one of you had, which is about custom audiences. Earlier, it came in about divorcing custom audiences, which I didn't even know you could find a database on that or a list or buy that. That's crazy. But let's just go create an ad on that landing page that I just created. And there it is, Concord. And let's click create an ad. Okay. This is something that a lot of you like to do because you want listing leads. It totally makes sense, right? And here is the challenge. And I know not a lot of you get on our live calls like this or watch our training. And this really is a bummer because you don't know what I'm about to tell you right now, which is this ad is not going to be very effective. You've taken the time to create a landing page that speaks to that market, but Facebook is not going to be helping you that well. And it has a lot to do with this right here. This radius is a problem. So where you're sitting in the country, this can definitely work against you. Now, I do want to say this. There are some clients that can go out there and run an ad just like we did right now. They create a landing page. You can tell I created it in 3 minutes. I just needed to type in a word, save it, and put in a photograph. Not too difficult. But when it comes here to running the ad on Facebook, I can't I can't just target a fit Concord. And somebody mentioned earlier, Google is better because you can actually target people in Concord. And for that reason, yes, it is better too. But let me show you, because I don't think you guys know where Concord, California is. Concord's a cool little town, but it's also surrounded by a bunch of other cool little towns. So if I click on maps here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. And wherever you live, you might want to think about this, right? I don't know if you can see it, but right over here where my mouse is spinning, that white area is Concord. Okay. There's a lot of homes, a lot of businesses, a lot of cool stuff. And that 15-mile radius is it's almost everything you can see on the map here. It's even further. It's like this direction here. But you see all these towns that I'm showing you? There are there are hundreds of thousands of people that live all around here. And this ad is showing up on all of them. It's not just targeting the people who live or own a home in Concord. And that's what makes this ad, in many cases, very ineffective. Okay. And that's where it comes into this thing here. You see this down here, it says retarget current leads, and it says custom audience. If I had created a custom audience, I could have created a custom audience that says Concord homeowners. Okay. Now, if I had that and I turn this off, I would just target the people on that list. And now this becomes a very powerful ad. Seems the value of Google is that you can target location. Okay. Would it be better to name the area instead of the city? For example, Citrus Valley. Where are you? Where is Citrus Valley, Hector? Sometimes that is. So there are definitely cities that have neighborhoods and you want to target that. You certainly can do that. There are some agents that just want to target a golf course community. You can do that too, right? So you would create that kind of landing page that speaks to that area. Yeah. Yeah. So there's 7 cities. Oh, no. Okay. So this is a good question. Thank you for answering that. So the question is, should I create a landing page on a valley, which actually takes up 7 cities? And usually the question is, can I create a landing page for a county? Bucks County, Brevard County, right? Contra Costa County. I live in Contra Costa County. The answer to that, to your question specifically, Hector, and to the county question is no, do not do that. Do not create. Let me get back to my little thing here. This picture here that we're looking at is pretty much everything you can see is called Contra Costa County. Okay. And you can either call it like the Tri-Valley area. And if I created that, it might speak to me because you know that, but here's the problem, which is probably true for all of you. The cost of a home here in Alamo at the bottom of this picture and over here, it's about 5 to 10 times, even 20 times more expensive than the homes that sell over here. We're all in Contra Costa County, right? But this is just a coveted, expensive area, and this is less pricey. So I honestly, if I live in Lafayette, I don't care what you know about Contra Costa County. I need you to be the expert in Lafayette. That's how you're going to be my realtor, right? So there's a value of saying, yeah, I know everything about the whole area, but when it's time for me to sell a home, I need the person who knows everything about Alamo, right? There's nothing in Alamo for sale under $2 million. You better know Alamo if you're going to be talking to me about selling my home. So I don't recommend going that route. You be the expert, yeah, in a town. How do you suggest getting a list, but to put in there? Good question. There are a couple of companies that can do that for you that you can buy. It's Remind.com is one of them. It's probably the number one that I know of. It's called Remind, like a mind chef, not your brain mind, right? Yeah, you can buy a list here or redx.com. I think there are other companies. Does anybody else know companies that do this? Some of you have MLSs that have that, and other of you just go talk to your title partners. I will tell you this. You need name, phone, and email, and these companies will do it. Sometimes they give you the address. And if you get that, you definitely want to use that. And you go over here to ads. And there's a button there that says custom audience, create audience. And you can upload max size. Oh, that's new information. Name your thing here, right? Like Concord Homeowners, right? You created a landing page for Concord Homeowners. And this is the format down here. This is what your spreadsheet should look exactly like this. Now, there are people, and I think actually I mentioned Dallas, that crew, they bought like 30,000, a list of that was 30,000 deep, and they put in 10,000 leads per audience. And that's how you don't need addresses here, but you don't need it. You can see what needs to be in here. Don't put extra information in this file. Email, phone number here, right? This is for Facebook. I would buy the addresses if you can, because then you can do mailings. You should be using our mailings, and I'm not going to waste too much time here. But if you look at top tools for more listings, I'm going to tell you one of the best ways to get listings is using some of our print tools. So imagine that you are targeting these people on Facebook at the same time that you are mailing an ad to them, right? They're going to see you from two different directions. Your likelihood of success is higher. So does everybody understand how to create a custom audience? Name it. It has to be 1,000 leads deep. It can't be 250 leads deep. If you're an agent who's been in the business for a while and you're sitting on 2,000 or 3,000 leads or even more in your CRM, I highly recommend that you export those leads out of there and upload them as an audience so that you can target them, because your CRM is doing a drip campaign. What happens if while they're getting dripped on, you're running an ad about your open house or just listed or how to get your home sold or whatever? You can actually create an audience of your dusty old CRM leads, right? A lot of you pay good money for leads and they haven't turned into business yet. Stay in front of them with a Facebook ad. That's really all I'm telling you. Let's talk a little bit about this. So you can create listing ads for just listed, for open house ads perform like, I think they're the best performing ads, because people, I don't know if you've heard this, but inventory is tight out there and it's real hard to find a home. And so if I'm looking for a home and you're telling me I've got an open house, and I can even click on here and say, hey, it's got a new wine cellar or it's got great schools, right? You can type in what you want people to see right there. All you got to do is click this button. Buyer leads, if you're using our default settings like I just did, your leads come in with name, email, and phone number. On average, they cost about $3 each. So if you got a $35 ad, divide 3 into that, you're going to get about 11 leads. Okay. And that's what you really want to be trying to do. If you want buyers, if you've got a home, it hasn't sold lately, or if you're borrowing a home from a colleague and you're going to do their open house, pull it in your account and run an ad. You will have a bunch of leads before the open house even starts, right? And you can really get cracking on that. Open house ads, just listed ads, those are going to get buyer leads. If you want seller leads, I recommend running ads on sold properties or on pending properties. I'm going to do pending right now. And here's why. Facebook sets the price per lead, right? If you run an ad on a home that is sold, those leads often cost $7. Remember how I told you the buyer leads cost $3? Why do seller leads cost $7? Facebook knows that you want those more, and so they charge you more. But when you run an ad on a home that is pending or under contract, Facebook really doesn't know what to do about that. They just don't price it right. And we've had clients come in saying, hey, we're getting leads at $2.50 each with name, email, and phone number from people who want their home values, right? That's the cheapest way of getting seller leads. I hope you understand what I'm saying there, because you can spend $7 by running the same exact home when it's sold, or you can do it when it's pending or under contract. You do have to pay attention to your local MLS rules, and you can get cheaper leads. If we go down the list, hold on a second, hit the wrong button, and we go to a PDF guide ad. Remember how I said we have 40 for buyers and we have 40 for sellers? If you're running a PDF guide for sellers, like that divorce one, or what, there's a good topic that everybody should absolutely be using, and that is the 5 dangers of overpricing. If you want to do that, you just click create ad. You don't even need to worry about, if you have your target that you, a custom audience, and you want to use, that's fine. But this isn't really geographically specific. So I'm just going to say where I, my core town, and then just have the radius, right? And it doesn't matter. You might even expand your radius because maybe you do work 30 miles away, right? These leads often cost $10 each. You can get leads for a pending ad for $2.50. You can get ads for a sold property for $7. And if you do a PDF guide, you're going to spend about $10, right? So what you're saying is use a friends under contract listing to get seller leads for cheaper. That's exactly right. That is what I'm saying. And last but not least, the most expensive seller lead comes, for Facebook, comes from home valuation pages, right? And we talked about the Concord one. It's right there. Create an ad. These leads often cost $12 to $15 each. Okay. And we know about targeting now. We know that's a bit tricky. So we got to think about that. But they're also pretty expensive. I honestly, knowing the cost of leads, I would definitely take those extra steps to create custom audiences. So I think everybody knows. Let me know if you've got any questions. We just got a couple minutes left. You can get buyer and seller leads very easily from Facebook. You can get seller leads very easily from Google. They're just more expensive, but they're higher quality leads. Okay. Any questions about what we've talked about, or any questions generally speaking? What is the average cost? What is the average cost per lead from custom audiences? I don't really know. We can't see that. We don't have that. I don't know if that works or changes the cost of leads. What really changes the cost of leads is what is your target in your lead category over here, right? If you're trying to get home values, it's this language and this that they figure their cost per lead, not if you're using a custom audience. Okay. Leah, thank you. I hope that helped you out. Anybody else? Any questions there? Let me just think if there's anything I forgot. Are QR codes good for Facebook ads? You might try it. I don't think so. Our default settings, Leah, get name, email, and phone number. QR codes do not get name, email, and phone number. I don't know if I can make it any clearer. I think the best ads or best leads to get have name, email, and phone number. And our default settings on Facebook always are designed to do that. What ad would you use for owners that are in default? I would probably, and that's a great question. You might want to look at, I'm looking for it right here, actually. We have a couple of PDF guides. One is how to avoid short closure. Oh, yeah. So there are some, go look at the PDF guides. We'll just go really quickly right here. And you will notice that for sellers, there are things about foreclosure and short sales. Short sale. What should I do? How can you avoid foreclosure? They're right here. I would be using those, Hector, if you've got a lot of that happening. And I know around the country, that's coming in. That's like a wave that's coming in. If that wave is coming into your local markets, you should probably be running an ad like this once a month for like at least a week, right? And that's my recommendation to you there. If you have, and I will say this, I didn't mention it earlier. This is a home valuation page. I don't know if I would mess with this too much, but in customizing landing pages, down here, if I click on custom, which I did up here on the left, there's a section that says custom content. You noticed it pushed the form to the right. You can actually snap in a video. So let's say you've got some really high quality video of a value proposition. That would sit right here in a little box next to this form. And now when you drive people, you can say, hey, you know what? I've handled 500 short sales. I totally know what's going on. I know the ins and outs. And if you need help, let me know. You can have that sitting right here and be driving traffic to that on an app. And you can do that. I don't see any more questions. If you do a video, I don't, in my mind, nothing longer than 30 seconds. I just think everybody's just too ADD. So they don't stay long. Even TikTok will tell you, you got 5 seconds before they shut down your video. If people are not responding and looking, they just move on. So I think 15 to 30 seconds is plenty long to ask them to get more, click the button to the right to get more information, and let's get you started. Everybody, thanks so much for joining me today. This call is being recorded and it will be in our YouTube channel right up here, probably tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Take it easy. Talk to you soon.